Hi everyone, thanks for joining this webinar. We're going to talk about the 3 quick tips for when your application outsourcing contract is expiring. My name is Alex Bergh, and I'm the Sourcing Advisory Lead of Quint Wellington Redwood. So, your application outsourcing contract is expiring. What do you need to do? Here are the 3 things. First, consider the new alternative options that are out there. Second, if your current outsourcing contract and relationship is working fine, you should consider single sourcing. And 3, please revisit your sourcing strategy. Let's dive into these know-hows in the next couple of slides. First, new alternative options are out there and you should explore them. The first of these new options is Agile and DevOps. Agile and DevOps have pretty much matured in the marketplace and are currently successfully being applied to outsourcing relations. So, typically, Agile and DevOps will improve your time to market and business satisfaction. However, in an outsourcing relationship, this requires significant changes in the contract, in your governance model, and your target operating model. The good news is, it has been done before, and the templates and methods are there that can help you make a kickstart with this initiative. The second new option that you should explore is robotics and automation. The level of automation in application management, monitoring, and various other areas, such as testing, have improved dramatically. With the current level of robotics and automation, you will be able to work more efficiently and at lower cost levels. Even quality can go up significantly. The good news is, it requires only a limited investment and change in your contract and your pricing models. And if you've selected the right provider, that provider will be able to implement this. So please consider that option. The third one is cloud solutions. For applications, this usually means software as a service. The market is more than ever ready to implement SaaS solutions, and it means that you need to be able to incorporate them in your existing application landscape. This requires some changes to your sourcing contract. The fourth option is rural sourcing. The past couple of years or decade, I should say, a lot of offshoring has taken place to places like India and South America and other regions as well. And there's a lot of benefits that can be achieved there, but currently we find that rural sourcing, which is closer to your office space, so to say, is very interesting in more agile domains. So they should be considered as well. Then insourcing. In most cases, we find that 100% insourcing is not ideal, but a number of organizations take a more selective view on sourcing. That means not everything is outsourced, but certain domains, for instance, that require a high level of agility and business innovation, are being insourced or being sourced in a way that people can be on site. So a selective view on sourcing is the way to go. These are the new and alternative options that you should explore before renewing your application outsourcing contract. The second point to address: if your current outsourcing is okay, why not go for single sourcing? In other words, if you're happy with your current provider, you can talk to your current provider about the new options that we just discussed. Make sure they get into the contract at a reasonable price with reasonable conditions, and you don't need to go through the whole pain of selection or a transfer to another supplier. Why? Selection processes and transition to another provider cost time and money. Why not avoid them if you can? Also, we find that bids by third parties in large application outsourcing contracts are, especially against incumbent vendors that already do business with you, are kind of like bets. Bidding by a third party that does not yet do business with you in the application outsourcing environment is sometimes a way for them to get into the company, so to say. This increases the chance of providers buying the deal, and usually that does not lead to a fruitful relationship. And that's another reason to see if you can prolong the contract with the provider. So you might be worried about not getting the right deal from your provider. And I think that's a very reasonable doubt that you may have. However, various solutions exist to help you create a good deal even in single sourcing with your existing provider. Sourcing advisors such as Quint Wellington Redwood can play a role, and the threat of starting a selection process may help you improve your negotiation position. Also, the promise of more business might be a great way to do that. The fourth reason to consider single sourcing is that it can be a way to improve partnership. You know your partner really does want to continue to do business with you, and that's a great start of an extension of the relationship. The third and final thing you should consider when your application outsourcing contract is expiring is revisit your sourcing strategy. We've discussed the options, the new options that are out there. We've discussed the option of single sourcing, and I think it's important to have a thorough analysis to see what is best for your situation and to start your sourcing initiative accordingly. Typically, we would analyze the current situation that you have on various aspects, as you can see on this slide, explore the applicability of the new alternative options, determine the sourcing strategy, including whether to go for single sourcing or not, and start the initiative. Those are the main tips for when your application outsourcing contract is expiring. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any additional questions, be sure to contact us. We're Quint Wellington Redwood. We can be contacted at quintgroup.com. We are an independent advisory firm and we advise Fortune 500 companies on outsourcing initiatives. We're independent, we're global and local, we have in-depth knowledge of IT, and we are extremely proud and happy to be ranked the world's best outsourcing advisor for 3 years in a row. Thanks again for joining me, and hope to see you soon.